Hello there, welcome back to my channel, Life with Lissette. I want to start by saying I'm a little bit under the weather. Yes, I am nasally. I have a halls in my mouth, but I did not want this Sunday to pass without recording this video because a lot of you have come in after my last one and have asked me to do videos on a lot of different topics, specifically protein. And I'm trying to really stay above the noise of all the flashing lights about what type of protein to eat, what you should or shouldn't be eating. I don't want this video to be about that because I think that that's not necessarily helping anyone. It's overwhelming. What I would encourage you is to not overhaul your nutrition plan overnight. That to me is a setup for disaster. And I know that not everyone is determined and disciplined. And I want you to succeed in this process. It is no secret that women are not getting in enough protein throughout the day. In this country, right, women do not consume enough protein. But I also don't want to lose sight of the fact that in order for you to increase protein, you need to also incorporate fiber. And so we hear these videos, or we hear these influencers talking about protein, but they're not really speaking to fiber. And they are cousins. They belong together. They belong on the same plate. They belong to be eaten together at the same time. Protein will bind you. Protein, while it has a lot of benefits, and yes, it's important, fiber is equally important. We are also extremely undernourished on protein. Here's a hard fact. You can only get fiber from fruits and vegetables. You cannot get fiber from animal product. As for me and my story, I became vegan 5.5 years ago. I'm no longer vegan. I'm more pescatarian. But for me, it came as a scare, right? So a little story. I don't want to get into too much detail, but my father died of colon cancer, stage 4 colon cancer, 20 years ago. And 5 years ago, my oldest brother was diagnosed with stage 3 rectal cancer. He was the only one of the 4 of us. I'm one of 4 siblings who never got a colonoscopy. I had my first colonoscopy at 37. They found 14 polyps. Yes, it was alarming. Yes, it was scary. And it really scared me straight a little bit, but not enough. Because I didn't know better. And Oprah's right? When she says, when you know better, you do better. I didn't know better. And so I was having colonoscopies done every 6 months, and every 6 months they found polyps. I was the same carrier of the polyps that my father had, which are the very fast moving ones. They grow very big, very quickly. And had I not been diligent to get my colonoscopies done every 6 months at the age of 37, I would probably be sharing a bed next to my brother today. I would be in a colostomy bag like he is today. And it scared me straight. So 5.5 years ago, I completely changed. I went completely vegan. Because for me, my personal story, it was a matter of life or death. It was not a nice to have. It was not a, let me casually do this. And I was really sick and tired of having colonoscopies done. I had colonoscopies done every 6 months for 14.5 years. Every 6 months, every January and every June. Religiously, I had a colonoscopy done. I had a straight colonoscopy in January, and every June, I had a sigmoidoscopy, an endoscopy, and a colonoscopy. My prep, your normal prep, let's say you're having a colonoscopy on a Friday. Normal prep is you don't eat anything. You have clear liquids on the Thursday before. And depending on the time of your colonoscopy, you'll have, you'll start your prep liquids the night of, right? The night before. My prep, because of my severity and the type of polyps that I had, actually started on a Wednesday afternoon. So I was prepping from Wednesday afternoon until Friday morning. It was torture. And once my brother was diagnosed, I had to really look at myself a little bit deeper. And I had to see, okay, there's a high percentage of colorectal cancers that are caused by animal product. And I didn't want to take any chances. And I said, I'm done. I'm done with this. And I stopped eating all land and sea, right? I was only eating fruits and vegetables. I didn't go raw vegan, but I went vegan and overhauled my entire life. That was dramatic. But so was the scare that my brother had. You know, he almost died. He had to be intubated twice. He had 4 surgeries. That was scary. And it was scary enough for me to change my habits, for me to change how I ate, how I looked at food, how I digested, what my body did to be able to absorb that food. I looked at it completely different. I went into a very deep, dark rabbit hole. But it was literally for me. It was for my life or my death. And I didn't want to be in that same situation that my brother was in. I didn't want to tell my children that I had stage 3 rectal cancer because I was negligent, because I was selfish, and because I chose not to do what I was supposed to do. So for an example, like I explained, I had colonoscopies every January and June. So my brother was diagnosed April 23rd. In June, I was already scheduled for my colonoscopy. Had it done, they found 2 polyps, which was normal. I went completely vegan. In January of the following year, when they did the colonoscopy, 0 polyps. My gastroenterologist waited for me to wake up from the anesthesia because he could not believe it. He had been doing my colonoscopies for 14 and a half years, and he could not believe that for the first time, there were none. And he actually kept me a little bit longer because he thought, wait, something's not right. There is nothing here. How is there nothing? He kept looking for something. And he waited for me to wake up. They had me under anesthesia a little bit longer, waited. And the first thing he asked me was, what have you done? He said, your colon is the cleanest it has ever been in the last 14 years that I have been treating you. He was amazed. And that changed the course for me. Now, do you have to do something that drastic? No. Do you have to overhaul your entire nutrition? No, that is not the goal of this video. And I wanted to do this video to kind of break the myth and break the anxiety over, oh my gosh, I need to incorporate more protein, but I don't know how. The frenzy is so bad that it paralyzes us. It puts us in this freeze mode where we can't even react because the idea of incorporating more protein is overwhelming because no one really tells you how, right? And I'm not here to tell you how. That is not the purpose of this video. I am here to try to change your mindset on how to approach incorporating more protein. I want to change your mindset and relax it a little bit to tell you how easy it is and what little things you can put in place to help you start eating more protein. So for me, again, mine was different. But my variation of my nutrition plan has evolved and it has changed. I'm no longer vegan. I am pescatarian. I have incorporated salmon and, other fresh fish into my diet, but I'm allergic to shellfish. So that's not a part of my repertoire. And I eat no animal product at all. No fish, no chicken, no pork, nothing. And I have had no polyps these last 4 years. And that to me is the biggest gift that I could give to myself. It's the biggest gift that I can give to my daughters and my grandchildren because I want to be here for a long time. I don't want to be a health burden on my children. I don't want that for them. So here's how you can start incorporating more protein into your nutrition. James Cleary says in Atomic Habits, you have to start with one habit, master that, and then you add another one on top. And I think when you start to incorporate protein and fiber, that same mindset should play through in how you approach incorporating more protein and more fiber. The reality is we are undernourished with protein in this country. Women especially, we're not getting enough protein throughout the day. And when we hit post-menopause, protein is so important for our muscle mass, for our bone density. It helps replenish and regenerate our cells. It helps our muscles to heal properly. It gives us strength and energy. And especially if you're going to start weightlifting, protein is critical. In addition to other things, I'm not going to get into the health and fitness part of it. I just want to get into what are the little tweaks and the little changes that you can make today, like right now, that you can incorporate into your eating habits to help you start looking at food a little differently. So for me, again, in post-menopause, I look at food as fuel, as energy, as vitality, because comfort food was what had me laying down with a colonoscopy prep every 6 months. Comfort food gave me polyps. And I knew that I did not want that for me anymore. So making sure that, you understand your body, you understand your schedule, your lifestyle, because everyone is different. So what I would encourage you to do is try to add protein to one meal, or focus on protein for one meal a day, and do that for an entire week. Okay? Again, starting small. I had a mentor many years ago, and the first time he told me, I thought, that's very condescending. Do I look like an idiot? Because he said to me, Lissette, how do you eat an elephant? I looked at him, I thought, what kind of stupid question is that? And he says, you eat an elephant one bite at a time. So when you look at something and it seems ginormous and big like an elephant, you're not going to tackle that elephant all at once, right? It's going to overpower you. It's going to make you feel small. It's going to intimidate you. And you will give up because you know you can't beat an elephant. And I thought, oh, okay, I get it now. It's very metaphorically, but I get it. And so I want you to approach incorporating protein into your nutrition with that same mindset, right? Eating that elephant one bite at a time. When you wake up in the morning, try to delay drinking your coffee first thing, right? Because your intestines, your digestive system is your second brain. You don't want to jolt it by adding coffee as a stimulant. As women in post-menopause, our highest cortisol levels are within 30 to 45 minutes of waking up. Cortisol is our fight or flight. So if that's at our highest level and we're adding a stimulant like coffee to it, it's putting us at a level that is not sustainable. We will begin to crash around 11 o'clock. We'll eat lunch that's heavy in carbs, right? And then we have that 3 p.m. crash. We're constantly in this cycle of cortisol fight or flight. I would encourage you to break your fast with drinking 16 ounces of water. Room temperature. If you can't do 16, try to do 10, 12, anything. Try to hold back on making coffee the first thing that you drink in the morning. And you're probably wondering, well, you were going to talk about focusing on protein. How does that come into play? So here's where this little idea will help you. I had watched a podcast by Dr. Stacy Sims, and she shared the scientific fact that your cortisol levels are at the highest in the morning. And she had an idea that I have also incorporated, which is adding protein to your coffee. And you may be thinking, how the heck do I do that? Very simple. We're not going to overcomplicate things here. We are going to keep things simple and easy. So what you're going to do is you're going to buy yourself, as clean as possible, a protein powder. Keep it at a flavor, buy a flavor or something that is not going to really change the taste of your coffee, okay? And you're going to add however many scoops of protein to your coffee. So for me, if I'm drinking coffee in the morning, I will have 2 scoops of my protein powder. It's French vanilla. I will add a cup of my soy milk, which has 9 grams of protein. Just with my powder and my soy milk, I'm at 30 grams of protein without even eating anything, okay? That's giving me 30 grams of protein. But even before I drink my coffee, or if I'm not drinking coffee that day, let's say I'm doing a morning workout, a later morning workout if I'm working from home, and I will drink a O-Win 32 grams, zero sugar protein shake. We can sit here and say, don't eat anything that's overprocessed. Don't drink anything. You can make your own. Try to eat 100% natural. That's not realistic. And I would never share that with you, especially if I'm not doing it myself. Supplements and packaged foods have their place and time in our daily lives. For me, it makes sense. I love the vanilla O-Win protein shake, 32 grams. I have my 16 ounces of water. I finish getting ready. I go downstairs. I drink that as soon as I get downstairs. That is the first thing that I consume. I can't eat anything 30 to 45 minutes of waking up. That is not me. If you are that person, kudos to you. But just incorporating something as simple as adding protein to your coffee is a game changer. And you're still drinking what you love. You're just not drinking empty calories. And you're making it work with you. Because if you add the protein to the coffee, it doesn't raise your cortisol levels as high, right? Because the protein, your body needs more energy and it needs to work harder to break down that protein. I drink the shake, especially if I'm going to do a later morning workout. I have a 1 hour commute. I don't want to drink my coffee on my way to work. So I will drink the shake. It holds me over for the hour commute until I get to work. And then I can have my coffee and I can have maybe something else for breakfast, like an omelet. We have a little kitchen in our building. I can go have an omelet, eat that in 10 minutes, and I'm good to go. So these are little things that you can do. Now, if breakfast is not your thing, what I will say to you is it's very important that you try to consume meals throughout the day. You want to remind your body that you are feeding it and that you are giving it a job. Because what happens is when we try to starve ourselves, it goes into our fat stores. The energy pulls from our fat stores. That's where you start to see a lot of inflammation, a lot of bloating, a lot of irritability, because you don't have as much energy. For me, when I look at food, I look at it as an energy source. I look at it as healing. I look at it as fuel. That's how I look at food. And so I want to encourage you to incorporate one source of protein in one of your meals a day. So I already gave you an example for breakfast. Another example that you can do, let's say for lunch, because you must have fiber with protein. If you don't, you will become constipated. Too much protein in our body without fiber will make you constipated. Now, I just spoke about that I'm not opposed to supplements. However, fiber is a different story. We have too much access to fiber to rely on a supplement. And you can only get fiber through fruits and vegetables. Animal product, fish, has zero fiber. I would stay away from other fiber sources, and I would try to get fiber in its most natural source because it's easily available, easily accessible. Apples are high in fiber, super high in fiber. Kiwi is a superfruit, extremely high in fiber. Mangoes, superfruit, high in fiber. Raspberries, high in fiber, low glycemic. You can have a bowl of berries with some Greek yogurt for breakfast, right? You can have your protein coffee and you can combine that with a Greek yogurt with some berries. So you're getting the high protein and you're getting the fiber from the berries and low glycemic, so your sugars aren't spiking, right? And by high protein yogurt, I'm speaking of the Greek yogurts, not the highly flavored Greek yogurts. You want to kind of stay in the zero sugar because you don't want to raise your blood pressure either. But, if you want to start drinking or eating Greek yogurt, try the flavored ones first, but look for the high protein Greek yogurts. That's where you want to reach to. You want to add some berries, add a little bit of honey. If for healthy fat, you want to sprinkle in some almonds, some crushed or shaved almonds, right? And you have a full meal. You have 30 grams of protein in your yogurt. You have the berries for fiber. You have the almonds for a healthy fat. And that to me is a complete meal, right? We're not going to overcomplicate this. That can be a breakfast item. You can even eat that for lunch. If you're going to eat a salad, make sure, that your salad has an equal amount of protein. I don't want to see this humongous bowl of salad with this little piece of chicken on it. I also encourage people to eat your protein first. Your body takes longer to process the protein. It keeps you more fuller longer, and it helps to build muscle mass and bone density. So always eat your plants first. Always eat your protein and your fiber first if you can. So when you get a salad, don't think about all the lettuce and the vegetables that are in there. Add a little bit less lettuce, loaded with high fibered vegetables like broccoli and spinach and peppers, right? Dense vegetables that are going to keep you fuller longer, in addition to a very healthy portion of a protein. That could be a chicken breast. I don't care if it's breaded or not. We're not going to get into that right now. It can be shaved steak, right? It can be hard-boiled eggs. Whatever it is, just make sure that you have more protein than you do lettuce, okay? So that's another easy way for you to incorporate some protein throughout, in the morning parts. And then for dinner, depending on what I'm doing the next day or if I have a workout that night, I eat carbs. Yes, I do. Carbs are my friend. They give me energy. I need energy. So I look at healthy carbs, sweet potatoes, brown rice, quinoa, lentils, right? Lentils are a source of fiber and protein. I look at all of that and I look at that as energy. So I want to make sure that if I don't have a leg workout the next day, my dinner is going to consist of just a protein and a fiber. So that could be a piece of salmon, 6 ounces of salmon, which are 34 grams of protein, and some sauteed green beans, right? That is my dinner. And I'll have some chamomile tea afterwards. If I haven't had a healthy fat throughout the day, I may have a handful of almonds, or I may have a half of a Hass avocado, right? These are little things that I can incorporate throughout my day so that I can meet all of my food groups. So don't try to do all of these things in one day unless you can and want to. I would mainly focus on changing one meal a day and doing that for an entire week. Create the habit of your body absorbing and processing more protein coupled with fiber, because you should not just be focused on protein. Incorporate it with a little fiber and see how your body feels. Listen to your body. Keep a diary, okay? If you have those 3 o'clock crashes, it could be because you're eating empty carbs for lunch. It could be because you're skipping breakfast, right? And your body is now going to your fat stores and it's churning and burning and you are falling down this cliff, right? You're spiraling downward. You feel like you're going to crash. And so what do we do when that happens? We run right to the kitchen and we get ourselves a 16-ounce cup of coffee. Again, empty calories. That makes you feel awake, but it's not giving you the energy because you will crash again and then you will binge. So eating protein, eating fiber keeps you fuller longer. It helps process the food in your microbiome, and it helps to sustain and build the muscle mass that you're looking for, specifically in postmenopause. I'm speaking to my postmenopausal women out there. Again, I don't want to overcomplicate this. I just wanted to share a couple of tidbits on how to change your mindset, how to actually shift how you're looking at what you're eating, and trying to make that one simple change. One little change can actually get you one step closer to increasing your protein habits throughout the day and getting you to your bigger goal of meeting and making those protein markers every single day. So I hope that this video has helped you. I hope that you've learned something. I know I don't have all the flashing lights and all the little graphics that show up. My goal was to really record this video. I'm really feeling like crap, but I wanted to record this video to get this information out there because it's overwhelming. And we don't have anyone really just cutting to the chase and telling us it's okay to not eat all your protein at the first go. You give yourself time. You build your body up to getting there to reach that goal of how many grams of protein per day you should be eating. Which reminds me, I didn't share this earlier. Ideally, if you're not working out, you should be consuming, and I don't deal with the 1.2 kilograms to 1 gram of protein. The math does not math for me. That's way too many numbers. Now, I know how to compute the numbers because I've been doing this for a long time, but I want this video to be super simple. So here's all I want you to do. I want you, once you reach that point where your body is digesting and able to process the protein and the fiber in a way that doesn't hurt you. And as you start increasing it to reach your goals, your goal protein number per day should be 1 gram of protein for every pound that you weigh. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you should be consuming 150 grams of protein. Now, before you freak out, and before you start shaking your head saying, this woman has lost her damn mind, I don't know how I'm going to get 150 grams of protein a day. Remember the elephant, one bite at a time. So if you start with 30 to 40 grams of protein in the morning, okay, if you have a Greek yogurt with berries and fiber, you add 1 scoop of protein powder into your coffee, you already have 44 grams of protein just with that, right? So you take that 150 down and you divide it at minimal by 3. Unless you want to eat other smaller meals, you can divide it by 4 or by 5, right? So every meal that you eat should consist of 50 grams of protein. But I don't want you to think about that right now. That's not what we're doing. We are here to talk about how to change one meal and how can we maximize our protein intake for that one meal, and do that consistently for a week, and then see how your body digests it. See how your body responds. More importantly, take note of how you feel. If you are one that you feel at 10 o'clock you need another 16 ounces of coffee because you feel like you're slumping and your energy is dipping and you're exhausted, but you no longer feel that because you are front loading your protein and fiber in the morning, that's a win. That is a plus. This is also part of how I opened up this video, is looking at food as a fuel source, as your energy source, as your healing source, because that is what food does to us. Our digestive system is our second brain. We need to take care of it. We need to feed it properly. We need to baby it. We need to nourish it and really coddle it so that it can help us achieve our long-term goals. All right. So I hope that this has helped you. I hope that I didn't ramble on too long, and I'm sorry that you had to listen to me nasally and coughing and with this halls, moving around in my mouth. But I really wanted to share this video with you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If this has helped you, or you feel like it can help another woman in your life that you love and care for that's also struggling, please share this video with them and leave a comment. Let's share and let's build a community where we can conversate about this and help each other. I don't have all the answers. I really don't. But I am willing to learn, and I'm also willing to share. And I love to be transparent. I found that vulnerability is my flex, and I don't mind sharing my personal stories with all of you if it helps you, right? And I want to be transparent in my story and share how I got here and why I'm here. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And if you have another topic you want me to discuss, leave me that in the comments as well. Thank you. And until the next one, adios.